So today's topic, I actually want to talk about frugality and saving money or being a little more intentional in your buying. And I think before I show you steps of how I stay frugal or how I've been being staying frugal and being more intentional with my buying is to start with the frame of work that we're going to be ways to get there. Most of the time, a lot of people think when it comes to frugality, they think that they need to get rid of everything. They need to sacrifice a lot of stuff. They need to feel as if they're cheaping out on things or their life is just going to be a lot more terrible. And for my point of view, that's not true because of my belief, right? When I think of frugality, I believe that it's a way that we're more conscious of what we buy. And when I buy things, I want to use it in a way that helps me in my life and maximize the joy that I'm getting out of it. And when it comes to frugality, a lot of it doesn't really matter based on how much money you make or how little money you make. It's actually how you make your decisions and your habits and what your life would like you to be like. For example, when I was before I actually grew up in a home where frugality was taught often in money, buying things cheap because buying some cheaper or buying alternatives is a way to stay frugal. But most of the time, a lot of stuff that we purchased growing up was cheap and you can buy multiple of it, but it actually didn't work. Like the products were cheap. They broke often. They didn't provide much value. And so sometimes because they were so cheap, my family would go buy more of it and it would accumulate in our home and cost us pretty much our peace of mind or space. It pretty much robbed us from a lot of things. It costs more than actually having it there. Another thing that happened when I grew up, when it came frugality, people thought since I was frugal that I was cheap. And growing up a lot of time, my dad or my family would be more cheap, and they, rather than frugal, they wouldn't spend money where it matters. They wouldn't spend money on places that would expand their life and make their life easier and bring more joy. They rather look at just the price. They're just stuck on the price rather than the value of the item and ways that it can impact it. So I changed that mindset and I do spend money on places that are a lot more expensive, but they provide great value to my life. For example, maybe I go to a store to get a white t-shirt. Maybe a white t-shirt you can go get at Target. You can go get it at whatever store, very affordable and cheap. But I noticed that whenever I did buy those cheap products, they will obviously torn and they'll rip, but it also wouldn't make me any happier. Sometimes I would go actually buy a really nice tee, a white tee that's really nice, great quality, and it's more, I paid for what it's worth, and I was actually more willing to take care of it better. Sometimes people think that if you pay for something cheap, you'll take care of it. We don't. A lot of people who pay for a lot of really expensive things, they're more likely to take care of it. And sometimes things that are free are actually not free for us. They cost us our mind. Again, they cost us our peace. They cost us our inability to actually really value the item, and we start to accumulate the stuff and all that. So when it comes to frugality, I actually do look at, of course, the pricing is really important, but I kind of stop looking at much of the pricing. I kind of look at, what does this product do for my life or the service, right? How can I save time? How does it make my life easier? And is there any other substitutes for it? And can I live with it or can I live without it? And the truth is, that's how now I change my mind, how I would purchase things. And previously, before growing up, we would just buy things because they were on sale. Now I actually don't buy things on sale. Sometimes a lot of people don't know that, but sometimes if I really need a product or item and I know I really want it, sometimes I don't wait for sales because I know for a fact that item is exactly what I'm looking for. So I just buy it. full price. And a lot of people might be like, well, isn't that more expensive and you could just wait for a deal? But yes and no. But when you get to a certain level of income, or you get a certain level of like lifestyle you're trying to complete, time is money. So the more you actually spend time researching and waiting for the right deals, or trying to find cut corners from here and there, the more time you waste, and then you could just got your product and moved on with your life. And so I do pay sometimes for the full ticket product item for the fact that I do not have time to actually look at research, reviews, or even to spend more time thinking about it. Beforehand, I've probably already done the research or look at the review of the product that I really need and just go for it. So of course, I'm not going to look at it blindly, like go in and buy it without even thinking about if people own it before. But by the time I've already decided what product it was and done the research and what I needed, and there's no necessary time for me to wait much more, unless I obviously know that the sale is coming up in a few times. Most of the time I buy things based on convenience and based on functionality and what it provides right away, my value, and changes, makes my life a lot more easier. Another thing about frugality, I think frugality, a lot of people might get really scared about it because they feel like you are limited to choices, and the truth is frugality actually opens up your choices. And because you actually start to see alternatives, and most of the time people who aren't frugal don't really look for alternatives. They just pick that one, that's it. And that's okay idea to live your life too, but when you're frugal, you actually consider if there's other things for you. And I think that when you're frugal, you start to accept new things that are coming to your space. There has to be another way. For example, if I was getting, lunch from a food cart or a restaurant that always packed at 2:00, maybe I would go look at other ways that I can, skip the line. A similar restaurant, like go online and, order from there, or buy food that's similar. Like I start trying new things actually. I start to experiment. I start to actually look at my choices in ways that I can maximize my dollar and time. And so that's how I stay pretty much frugal. Another thing too is that I don't believe frugality is long term. It's just for now. And for some people, frugality, this might be their whole life, and this is the way that we should live. I think eventually, if frugality isn't your way of living, it doesn't have to be. It could just be a temporary plan. It could also be a way that you just condition yourself so you can live a little more full and holistically, and it could be a good place for you to just keep yourself grounded. Meanwhile, you're working towards other goals. So, for example, if you live and you are living off of like minimum wage, paycheck, frugality might just be your only choice, to be honest. But after the time, maybe you get a better job or you gain more money in different places, you can get your frugality, the level of frugality can change. You don't have to stay frugal if you have more money to waste your time on and more money to spend your time on. So like frugality sometimes does not apply for everyone, and it doesn't have to be forever either. It was just it's just a stage that you're currently in. I like to believe frugality could be also a value. It could be a value that you carry, that you want to be incorporate, that you truly value. And to be honest, like frugality is not for everyone, and those who are those who are pushing it because it's the only way to make you feel bad about things is probably not the way to go. But you should decide and design your life the way that's easier for you. But obviously, even if reality is in somewhere that you don't want to be, just keep in mind that things could always change for you. And if you're working to change that, then it shouldn't be something really scared. It's just something temporarily for now. Ooh, I forgot to mention, some people think that frugality actually means you're just saving money. And that's not true. Actually, for a lot of people who are frugal, it's just a way of living. And frugality, when you think about it, is, I wouldn't say minimalistic because I'm definitely not a minimalist, but it's a way that you get to live lighter in life. That because of you have less, because you spend less on other things, you don't accumulate a lot of stuff, you don't buy things that are unnecessary, you don't waste your time in with people and things and experiences. You're just more curated and you're more lighter. You know your purpose on what you're trying to go after for. I also have to tell people being a frugal doesn't also involve people who make low income. A lot of people who are higher income earners or have multiple six figures, who have very successful businesses, still live very frugal in their life. In reality, sometimes it's just a value and a principle. Sometimes people use their money for other things, such as investments, for bigger goals that they're looking to purchase, or they use it in a way that they can just live lighter. I know someone who's frugal because they don't want to they don't want to do the 9 to 5 life. They don't clock in and out. They use their money so they can have more time to do things that they want, such as traveling, maybe doing a van life. People have done it. Maybe preparing for a family or living somewhere else separately from society, far away, right? Or they get to travel, have more time off with their families and friends, or even with themselves. Frugality is actually not just to save money. It's to save your time, your effort, your energy. It means putting money where it matters and then actually getting to live your life as much as comfortably as you can. So I think it's really important to think of frugality as like, what is your goal when you're doing it and what are your intentions? The reality or value that you want to incorporate as an experiment for short-term plan. Is it something that you want to just try and give it a shot? There's just so many reasons why you should be frugal, and especially in an economy that is pushing for you to do more, work more, to make more, to do more, to own more, to buy more. Here, especially in the USA, it's very fast paced and they want you to do it all and have it all at the same time. And it's essentially a lot of people can feel that pressure now happening to their life, that it's not really the ideal case for them. So anyways, frugality actually begins with a mind shift, begins with you setting your goal and purpose, why you want to be frugal, and ways that will maximize your life. So I do have to tell you, it all really begins with a mindset. No, you don't have to live really scarce. No, you don't have to live in a life that you have to cut completely everything out. And no, it doesn't have to be forever. And for those who are scared and those who really want to be all about it, that's up to you. For me, I know I live a life that maximizes my life, and I get to own the things that I really want, and every single thing that I own brings me joy. And no, you're not going to always be perfect as well. When you're frugal, you're going to make mistakes on along. You're probably going to go back to the old patterns. Maybe you make a mistake here and there, but to BH, it's just as long as you're mindful and you're staying true to your goals and getting closer to where you want to be. Like, frugality is a great choice. In fact, you don't even have to call it reality, just we call your goals. Reality is just your goals, your financial goals, your future goals, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, I wanted to make this last clip before I end the video. I hope you have a wonderful time. Don't forget to give me a comment and like if you like this kind of video. I'll see you guys next time. Until next time, bye.